Quez Watkins just got a big pay bonus, and I think that indicates he's probably going to be on the roster as your wide receiver 3. Plus, Philadelphia's overall salary cap, it's changed a little bit. How much money do they have to spend to improve the roster if they don't like the team come training camp? I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Thursday. Quez Watkins has been really a famous person this offseason around Philadelphia Eagle media, talking about will he stay, will he go, has he improved, does he look better? Well, he did just earn a pay raise for playing well at least last season, according to some new NFL pay changes. Throw up the report on your screen. Quote, Eagles wide receiver Quez Watkins earned pay raise on contract. Now, it's not like the Philadelphia Eagles today came out and said, hey, we love you. We want to give you a pay raise. You're going to be our wide receiver 3 for sure. Not the case. It's the NFL that kind of forces the Eagles' hand to pay them more. Here's really the whole rundown. Quote, Eagles receiver earned himself a nice pay raise heading into the final year of his rookie deal. After making less than $1 million in each of his first 3 seasons, Watkins will now make around $2.785 million in 2023. The reason for the raise is due to the NFL's proven performance escalator. The escalator basically says that players drafted outside the first round to earn some extra money provided certain conditions are met. There are also 3 separate tiers of the PPE. Players can reach the first tier by playing a certain percentage on their team's offensive or defensive snaps, 60% for round 2 picks, 35% for round 3 through 7 for 2 of the first 3 seasons or averaging that percentage over all 3 years. And obviously last season, Quez Watkins played over 55% of the snaps on offense. Therefore, he earns the pay raise. It just goes into effect now. Now, this is interesting because Philadelphia, there's been these reports of could they trade him? Could they cut him? This tells me no. $2.785 million is not a ton of money, but it is enough money to where you would say he would have to be terrible at training camp and in the preseason, or likewise, Devin Allen would have to be absolutely fantastic. Olamide Zaccheaus would have to be unbelievable in training camp in order for Philadelphia to move on from Quez Watkins. This tells me he's guaranteed to be on the roster. The fact that this goes into effect into year 3 of his contract, it's still not a ton of money. He's not making $7 or $8 million a year as a wide receiver 3. He makes $2.75. That is still enough to keep him on the roster and keep him as the most likely option for Philadelphia as the number 3 target. Now, again, could he go down to number 4? Could his snaps be limited? Could you see someone else come from behind and be an undrafted free agent receiver, or possibly, like I said, Olamide Zaccheaus taking more snaps? Sure, but the fact that Quez Watkins did enough last year to at least earn this little PPE pay raise in his little contract bump tells me Philadelphia most likely will keep him, and all the people telling you that he's a cut candidate, he's a trade candidate, are probably a little bit out of their minds. All right, speaking of salary cap, let's go ahead and take a look at where Philadelphia is with their current salary cap in order to showcase if they have the money to make moves going into training camp, during training camp, or actually during the NFL season. Remember, GM Howie Roseman made a big splash late last training camp, picking up C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Turned out to be a fantastic move for him, and he had money to make more moves during the actual regular season with Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. So your full salary cap breakdown, according to the Eagles Wire and via USA Today, is as follows. Right now, Philadelphia has $13.854767 million in cap space, so 13.8, almost $14 million in cap space. That's 17th best in the National Football League. That's plenty. I mean, that's a big name player. That's a linebacker. That could be a safety. That could be a pass rusher. You talk about like Yannick Ngakoue, or you talk about getting a linebacker in, trading for Isaiah Simmons or trading for Patrick Queen. It's probably not enough for a DeAndre Hopkins, like some people wish that it would. I think Hopkins wants 15 plus. Of course, if he takes a discount, anything's possible, but it does give you enough ammo to go get one more player because you have all that free cap space that's not going to go anywhere. I mean, it's free cap space going through the 2023 season. Now, when it comes to dead cap money, right now Philadelphia, of course, has $54 million in dead cap money. That is 4th most among National Football League teams, and it's for a lot of the reasons that you would expect. There's still some Brandon Brooks contract money on there. Fletcher Cox has a bunch of dead money. A lot of teams have dead money. Philadelphia's a little bit higher, but the fact the roster is still fantastic and it's actually still pretty high is quite impressive stuff there from Howie Roseman. Now, when we look at positional spending, I think this is actually fascinating, right? So again, $13.8 million in cap space. They're spending $80+ million on both sides of the football, with the chunk really being on the offensive and defensive lines, as you would expect from the team with the best offensive and best defensive lines in the National Football League, right? Total offensive spending, $99,908,102. And then you go over here to defense, that is $89,700,911. Both, though, ranked towards the bottom of the league, 27th in total spending for offense, 27th in total spending for defense. And so things changing a little bit on how the NFL is laid out in terms of the upgraded salary cap and where people are at. Jalen Hurts' contract, obviously, making him one of the 2 highest paid players on average in the NFL, all way into this thing. But total spending is pretty impressive how balanced it is for Philadelphia. Now, the top 5 biggest cap hits for Philadelphia: Lane Johnson, Darius Slay, Kelsey, BG, A.J. Brown, Jordan Mailata. What you would expect. The fact that A.J. Brown's cap hit is only 8.3, being a top 5 receiver in the NFL, versus some of the other cap hits. Go look at Stephon Diggs' cap hit. Go look at what Justin Jefferson, with the new contract that's coming out, will hit. It's very impressive that is the most expensive. And Lane Johnson, Kelsey, 14, 10, still not like it's $20 million on a cap hit. The fact that, of course, there's not a big cap hit for one Jalen Hurts this season goes again to show how good of a job the GM, Howie Roseman, was able to do. So there is money. There is money to go out there and pick up some of these big-name free agents if you really wanted. Now, when you look at the actual free agents, again, just assuming you wanted to spend your $13.8 million, it's burning a hole in Howie Roseman's pocket. Here are kind of your options, right? There's names that you'll look at and you'll go, okay, we don't want Carson Wentz, we don't want Matt Ryan, but then there's Hopkins, there's Kenny Golladay, Byron Jones, Taylor Lewan, Zeke Elliott. Yes, it shows Tom Brady there, but ignore that. Zach Cunningham, Deion Jones, Marcus Peters, Robert Quinn, Yannick Ngakoue. There are names here. I mean, really, truly, there are cornerback names here. There are running back names here. There are defensive end names here. There's some inside linebacker names here. Jadeveon Clowney remains available. Ronald Darby, remember him. This gives you, again, the point of this little segment to show $13.8 million will either go out and get you a position of need pre-training camp, or if you get into training camp and the linebackers aren't performing well, and the wide receiver 3 doesn't look as good as you thought Quez Watkins would, or they need another pass rusher, they can go out and pick through a pretty, big-named free agent list. Doesn't mean they're good. We don't think Zeke Elliott or, Dalvin Cook. Cook's pretty good, but, Ronald Darby, Bradley Roby, Jadeveon Clowney, these are kind of washed-up guys, but still in a rotational superstar defense, they could provide some serious firepower for Philadelphia. So, again, I like the fact that they have the money to do this. The question is, will they make a move pre, during, or after training camp? Give me your thoughts on that one down below right now in the comments section. Quick story here to go ahead and finish up. Do you realize how close the Eagles were to not having A.J. Brown last year, not trading for A.J. Brown 2 drafts ago? There's a really cool report that came out here. PHL Sports Nation has the write-up, but Philadelphia tried for Ridley and then tried for Allen Robinson before the draft, and then they went ahead and made a move for A.J. Brown. Here's the Ridley part. The Eagles almost had a trade worked out with the Falcons for Calvin Ridley. Falcons and Eagles were in legit negotiations, and they were close to getting a deal done for Ridley. The reason it didn't work out is because the gambling issue that Ridley faced, Falcons pulled out of the negotiations and never told the Eagles why. This trade would have been great for the Eagles at the time. There's no doubt that A.J. Brown trade was better, especially because A.J. Brown was able to play last year, and the size works way better alongside Devontae Smith versus a smaller Calvin Ridley with a smaller Devontae Smith. I like it way more than Ridley, even though Ridley's really good. Allen Robinson, the other receiver the Eagles were close to landing was Allen Robinson. Eagles were expected to sign him before. He decided to take one more night to think about it. Then it was the Rams snuck in and got a deal done with him before the Eagles. It was ultimately the best outcome for the Eagles because the Robinson didn't look like his old self out there last year. Obviously, A.J. Brown is better than Allen Robinson. What's funny is Eagle fans, I was fine with Robinson. At the point, it was like, yeah, Allen Robinson, go get him. Big physical target, did well for the Rams a couple of seasons ago. Yeah, you want Calvin Ridley, speedster guy on the outside, go get him. And yet, hindsight being 2020, you sit back and go, wow, Philadelphia, they really got the good trade here, just giving up the first-round draft pick and being able to get A.J. Brown in the end. So thumbs up for that. A fun story to show you that Howie, again, is always working deals, isn't always getting the best deal, but sometimes a no is a way better answer than a yes, both in football and in life. I'm Thomas Mott, wrapping up on a Thursday. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.